Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy, and I'm here to discuss the topic of twin flames. Yes, twin flames. The subject of twin flames seems to be very popular, and I keep receiving questions on the subject, so I thought I'd cover it today. As we begin to discuss twin flames, I like you to use your imagination. And the first thing I like you to imagine is God. God. All. Something that is tangible yet intangible. Powerful, mighty. Has thought. And it thinks, let's say, an orb into existence. Similar to, I'm sorry, that's my little table squeaking. Similar to, I think it's called a dowel, the circle with the masculine, feminine energy in it. I can't think of what its name. Duality. The show shows duality. And God thinks this particular little orb into existence. That orb contains both the masculine and feminine energy. It is asexual, meaning the orb itself, the doll, the duality sign that you see with the little paisley, black and white, and then the black paisley has a white dot, and the white paisley has a black dot, that one. But for this video, we're using our imagination. The orb is asexual, and therefore it can reproduce, asexually reproduce. Imagine this particular orb having a beautiful flame, eternal flame over it. And that eternal flame is its umbilical cord to God, to the all. The flame represents animation, life, given from the all. Before you or I or any individual came into existence, we were one of those orbs, one of those thoughts. But in order for us to come down to this world, that orb was literally split into two individuals, masculine and feminine, males and females. We are born into this world. Is it possible for us to have twin flame unions in this world, in this life? Sure. But it won't be anything like the one God held in his hand. It won't be like that. But I'll explain. Another thing I want you to keep in mind, at least sometime during this video, are the characters from two of our classic tragedies. And that is Romeo and Juliet and Othello and Desdemona. I'll make those folks make sense in a moment. Can you have a twin flame relationship in this lifetime? Is that person that you're looking at, or that you're panning over, or that you're longing for, your twin flame? Let's see. Let's define that flame that God anointed the orb with further. That flame that rides over the top of the orb is not only the anointing of life and animation. It represents one passion, one desire, one aim, one purpose, one focus, one direction, one motivation. In this case, in the initial story of the orb, your initial or that orb's initial motivation and dedication is to God who granted it life. Now we're going to drop that ball down into our realm where that ball is split in two and brings into existence a little boy, a male, or a little girl, a female. Now these are two individuals that come into this world and have some life experiences to have, to fulfill, in order to grow back up. Grow back up where? Back into the hands of God. Once we descended into this realm, you can say we were kind of dirty and unworthy of being in God's presence. We began to be uneducated soon as we entered this realm. So a purification has to take place before he who God will inhale us back up into his essence, the oneness, the initial motivation. So now we're down on this earth as man or woman, and we have our experience. Can we have a twin flame relationship in this lifetime? Well, while in this life, in our physical bodies, we have a tendency to be extremely needy, wanting, longing, desirous, and we do all kind of things to fulfill those needs, wants, desires, passions, aims. We have a very lascivious nature. And as long as we are chasing to fulfill those aims, passions, desires, motivation, then we are not eligible for twin flame connection. Remember, our motivation is supposed to be God, the all, not chasing our desires and wants. All those desires and wants satisfy the flesh, not God. So, we have what is called Dharma. Your destiny, you must fulfill it. You have to. Dharma is depicted in your birth charts, your divisional charts. I think it's divisional chart 9 or something like that. And it says that you have come into this plane, and now you must have these experiences in order to rectify, clean yourself, be re-educated, so that you can be what? Inhaled back up into the all. Without the lesson, you cannot ascend. Now, the question is, can you have a twin flame relationship in this lifetime? Yes, you can, but it's rarity. It's a rarity. And I'm going to tell you why. If you just ride the wave with me, this video is going to be pretty short. I brought up Romeo and Juliet. Do you remember the story? Two young lovers. I think they're about, 15 or something like that. And their families were at odds and didn't want them together. But you know how it is when young folk fall in love. You can't tell them nothing. They were in love. And their families, moms and dads, aunts and uncles on each side, were at each other's throat, trying to keep the children away from each other. Could they have been twin flames? Were they twin flames? Chances are, I mean, it was possible if they could have overcome the obstacles presented by this world, by this physical world, by the hatred that was taking place, and together moved forward on one aim, one passion, and one desire, one motivation. But by them being so young, they did not have the ability to overcome all of the obstacles that were accompanying them. You know, the anger, the differences between their families. That suggests that they would have to continue to live and to complete their dharma, their life lessons that they needed to have in order to evolve spiritually, intellectually, and physically, and everything, in order to be in a place where they could join together maturely, maturely with the ability to overcome the obstacles of their feuding family, and also to have one desire, one aim, and one motivation. Can we have a twin flame relationship in this realm? Yes, we can. We can, but it requires a great deal of work, a tremendous deal of work. Step one is to master ourselves. We must fulfill our dharma. Our dharma is what cleanses us or re-educates us and puts us back in line with God, with the all. It is where we overcome our natural lascivious nature while in this body, and we release this world. We understand the foolishness and the errors of our ways, so to say. All our, again, needs and wants and desires and angers and sadness and fears and regrets and vengeance, all of that is released. It was something else I wanted to go back to the orb, the original orb. Oh, within that, I think it's called a Tao. Y'all tell me. My memory is really suffering. Old age, you know. But I think it's called the Tao. The circle with the two paisley prints, the black one with the white circle, and the white paisley with the black circle, which represents duality. That orb in this case, because remember we're using our imagination, that orb with the flame, that single flame over it, where God has blessed and animated this orb and instructed it to have one focus in one direction. That one focus and direction and motivation is God. However, we descended from that state, split into two separate physical bodies, each carrying its own gender. And at that state, we're no longer able to asexually reproduce. We have to come together to work some things out in order to produce. But I jumped back from the orb, so let's get back up there. When it comes to that particular orb, that orb is a representation of universal laws. A couple of those laws are the law of opposites, the law of polarity. It also represents the law of attraction, the law of receptivity, and whatever the other laws are. They are all embodied in that one symbol or that one orb. Step two is that In order to come into communion or relationship with a twin flame, you must be up under the laws, the universal laws, in order to be eligible for twin flame union. Okay. First one is you got to get rid of all your physical desires. Your flesh is very limiting. Yes, it is still possible to have a twin flame union. Remember, the reason we are here on this earth is to have a lesson in order to re-educate us so that we will be worthy of ascending back to the all. Once in that position, if you're able to get to that state of, just say hypothetically, a Buddhist priest or something like that, and you are to you have obtained your Dharma, completed your Dharma, and able to maintain it. Step one. Step two is to understand, in order to be in a twin flame union, you must that life or sphere that surrounds or would surround a union such as a twin flame union would be abiding by all the universal laws. Not one, not two, but all. The next thing I like to talk a little bit about is the I'm in bed, y'all, so just visiting me. Is Othello and Desdemona. Othello and Desdemona are an example of, I believe they were husband and wife, two lovers, that love was disturbed or interjected by another, gossip, outside influence, insecurity, lack of expression. For those that don't know about the story of Othello and Desdemona, as I mentioned, I think they were husband and wife. And Othello had a friend that came in, suggested to Othello that his wife, Desdemona, was cheating on him. Othello went crazy. He went crazy, couldn't contain himself. It sat at the back of his mind for the longest of time until he was so enraged that he had to take action. And if I'm not mistaken, he killed her. He killed his own wife because somebody suggested that she had cheated on him, betrayed him. Was it called infidelity? And once he had killed her, it came to light that his homie was merely lying to him. But Othello's love, his true love, Desdemona, was dead, and he had killed her. So he turned and killed himself. End of story. One of our classic tragedies. Now you can find that movie. It's called O, and that's what I can't think of the actor's name. It's more up to date for the young folks. Movie's called O. It's deep. It's really, really good. I can't think of that boy's name. I'm gonna say Omar Epps. Was it in it? He played Othello. What they called him O in the movie. Really great program. Anyway, I'm jumping everywhere. The reason why I bring up Othello and Desdemona is because they were considerably older than Romeo and Juliet. They had lived out more of their life, meaning they had dealt or been dealing with the life lessons associated with them fulfilling their dharma, being corrected spiritually through life experiences. And how, even though they had life experiences, they hadn't matured enough. And then when outside influences infiltrated their marriage, they didn't have what it took to fight it off. Then it was about a lack of control, rage on Othello's end, and desire, for his wife, and jealousy. All of these fleshly weaknesses keep us from achieving our twin flame union. Because the twin flame union, remember, has to do with, I don't know if I said this, two energies, opposites, masculine, feminine, male, female. Each energy or entity being one whole complete entity, one whole complete person. And what does it mean for an individual to be one whole complete person? It means that you have completed your dharma. You have been corrected. You have been re-educated in the spirit through the physical experience. And you are now righteous. And you have the ability to maintain that state of righteousness in such a corrupt world. Not only you, but your counterpart, that special someone, would have to obtain that same level of mastery. At that time, it is possible for you to come together and to have the twin flame union. But remember, the coming together creates one flame, meaning that you two would share in one particular aim, passion, or motivation. And that motivation that you two would share could be staying righteous in an unrighteous world. See, we look at twin flame relationships as loving, long-term, to death do us apart, support, having families, going on vacation. It's like living the perfect life with your mate. And that's not at all what the twin flame relationship is about. All those relationships we think of and envision are soulmate connections and interactions. Another thing about twin flames is that it is merely about, see, we're starting to move back into energy. Masculine and feminine are required, one of the universal laws, opposites. And an example of what I'm trying to say is that if you, because all you can do is account for yourself, if you were to complete your dharma, be able to maintain your dharma, meaning being cleansed, re-educated, being able to stay righteous in a corrupt world, the person that you have been so Google-eyed over and so in love with, infatuated with, saying, are they the one, or they are the one, you would find would not be the one that you would be interested in, because you would have overcome and therefore released and no longer be attracted to that person on the level where you would want to entertain or engage them. But what may happen is, if life would allot you the chance, it is possible to encounter and meet and to engage another person or being that has also mastered themselves. You will be eligible for, again, a twin flame union. How can I say this? Let's say you're a lady, but you have more masculine energy like myself. Well, you may meet another lady, somewhere in the world somewhere, and she carries a more feminine energy, but you both have mastered yourself. Well, guess what? You two can have this is a shell. So I'm talking about the spirit now, because we are sending back to God, to all. You can have a twin flame union with that person or that entity, that other lady. This stands true also for men. Some men have more of a feminine energy, while others are masculine. If you were get to have a male that has a feminine energy, and he was to meet a male with a masculine energy, and they both had mastered themselves, completed their dharma, able to maintain it, stay in righteousness, and move forward in this corrupt world righteously, then they can have a twin flame union. But it's not like many of us think. I'm not talking about a sexual relationship. I'm talking about being of one purpose. And the purpose would be to stay righteous in a corrupt world. Now, it can happen with a woman and a man. Yep. And even in that case, it does not have to, and most likely at that level, it would not include, we're talking about sexual intimacy. You would be of one shared purpose and aim, and that is to maintain righteousness in a corrupt world. Mm-hmm. Because to lose sight of the aim would or could be detrimental to your ability to stay your course. However, sex is possible. However, you have to remember step 2 to twin flame unions, and it's about the universal laws. Remember that they are all in play when it comes to twin flame union. And did I say number 3 was to overcome your flesh, to release the needs, desires, wants, and longs of the flesh. If a person, you, the other, both, have not been able to accomplish that basic step of releasing, letting go, completing your dharma, being re-educated, and staying righteous, then on this physical plane, you will not obtain a twin flame union, which you are looking for, hoping for, and longing for as a soulmate connection. And remember, that soulmate connection is going to be working to help you fulfill your dharma and to get clean and to be re-educated. So that too holds its challenges. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. Until next time, bye.